It's been a pretty busy Saturday, but I wanted to jump on here real quick and do a uh, live pickups review for this Saturday. It's been a busy Saturday, but I have to give some props where they're due and give some shout outs where they're due as well. So, this definitely won't be a long live, but it will be a live where I kind of just go over some of these pickups and hopefully while I'm going through this live, none of my kids run through the doors, which there's a strong possibility that that could happen because it's Saturday and they have not gone to bed yet. But I didn't want to wait until too late to try and do this Saturday live pickups recap. So some of you may be able to join live, some of you may only be able to join or watch the playback, regardless of which category you fall into. Hopefully, you had a really good weekend and you were able to find some good deals. So, before I kind of just go through everything that we have here, I do want to send a huge shout out to Easy Gamers. Thanks to him, I was able to get a large amount of what you see here, and I'm not even able to show everything that I got from Easy, but I will tell you what I got from him additionally once we kind of go through some of the games that I was able to pick up this weekend. I don't think these are all the games, but these are pretty much the bulk of the games that I got. So shout out to Easy Gamers because a lot of this stuff I was able to get from him. And then also shout out to GameStop. While I was with him, we went to a retro GameStop up near where he's at, and the store is actually really cool. The assistant manager is really cool. I can see why he goes there a lot. It's a really cool store. So, and they had a ton of retro stuff, which makes sense because Easy's probably always selling them all the retro stuff that he finds in the wild because he doesn't typically collect retro, which is perfect for me because he always finds it. He's just not collecting it. I collect it. So, I'm sure that we'll continue to do more deals together. So, without any more further ado, let's kind of get into some of these pickups. So, as many of you know, I'm currently rebuilding the PlayStation 2 collection. So he was able to actually help me get a few games that I've really wanted to get back into the collection, starting off with Shinobi for the PlayStation 2. All of these games are complete in box and they're all in good condition. So didn't really have much to worry about there. Shinobi is definitely one that I wanted to get back. Way back when I was building my PlayStation 2 collection, like years back, I had this game, and there's another game that plays a lot like it. It's called Nightshade. That's also a Sega game. Hopefully, I'll be able to get Nightshade back in the collection, but shout out to Easy. He did have this one complete in box, so I took this one off of his hands. He also had Odin Sphere. I know there's a million ways to play Odin Sphere. Odin Sphere has been on the PlayStation 2, the PlayStation 3, the PlayStation 4. I'm surprised it's not on the PlayStation 5. I think it's on the Vita. But he did have a pretty clean copy for the PlayStation 2. So shout out to him. I did pick up a complete unboxed copy from him. Probably the main pickup that I got from him, this is the one I was the most happy to pick up, was finally able to get back Marvel vs. Capcom 2. A lot of you guys know this is my favorite game of all time. Spent so much time playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I know it's available on the Switch now and the PlayStation 4. And I don't know if it's on the 5, but I know there's a lot of ways you can play this. I spent my high school days playing this on the Dreamcast and my college days playing this on the PlayStation 2. So it's definitely cool to have this one back. And then this one I did not get from Easy. This one I actually wound up getting from GameStop, but Rygar was a pretty solid pickup as well. So that was another complete in box pickup. So the PlayStation 2 collection is slowly coming back together again. Then we had some really solid Super Nintendo pickups this weekend. Contra 3, I did get from Easy. I was actually supposed to get this from him a while back and just never got a chance to. I think I wound up actually getting my copy from GameStop. So I just wound up not getting the one from him. But I guess it was meant to be because I did pick up this copy of Contra 3 from him today. Castlevania 4 and Metroid. I was able to get both of these from GameStop. So these were two pretty sweet pickups. Ease 3, from Eves. I was able to get this one at GameStop as well. And then Magic Sword I got from Easy. So this is the foundation of the Super Nintendo collection. My Super Nintendo collection was all loose cart. So, I'm not really too bummed about getting these loose cart. If I can get my hands on complete and box Super Nintendo games, I of course will take them and collect them, but I don't go crazy about getting these complete in box. The loose carts are just fine for me, especially for right now. This one I got from Easy. So this is one that I didn't even have in my original collection. So shout out to Easy because I didn't even have a PSP Go in my original collection, and it's really hard to find these in the wild. What's going on, Charles? How you doing, man? It's really hard to find these in the wild. I don't know where he got this, but PSP Goes are just really hard to find, especially ones that work and aren't like completely torn to shreds. So this one was actually a pretty clean copy. So I was glad to snag that from him as well. So shout out to him. A couple of Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games. So we have R-Type DX and Final Fight 1. These were two GameStop pickups as well. You guys know I love my beat 'em ups. You know I love my shoot 'em ups. So was glad to add these two in. Whacked. This was one that I had been trying to get my hands on for the original Xbox when I had the original Xbox. So I'm actually glad to have found this complete in box as well. I got this from that retro GameStop, a really, really cool GameStop store. So I was glad to snag that there. We also have Batman Returns for the NES. I would have liked to get this in better condition. This was a online pickup, so I may return this. I don't know if I'm going to keep this one. This one is in pretty rough shape, so I may not keep this copy of Batman Returns. So we'll see what I do with this. I'm going to think about it. Not really sure. And then we have Sword of the Berserk, Guts Rage. This was a Dreamcast pickup that I got from Easy as well. So a bunch of really cool stuff that I got from Easy Gamers. Really, really cool stuff. Again, shout out to Easy Gamers. I was able to do this deal with him. In addition to the stuff that I got here from him, I also got a Dreamcast with a couple controllers, all the hookups. I was also able to get a backwards compatible PlayStation 3 from him, which was also a really cool pickup. I got the PSP Go and a bunch of games. So, yeah, man. He also gave me these like little games here, a little stack of games, some basic games for the Dreamcast. So, shout out to him. Charles said, just finished my N64 set this week. Now to hold it and enjoy it for a little bit before breaking it down and curating. D-Pad Life, my man is at it again. Dreamcast hype. I just scored a Sega Sports Dreamcast console. Nice. No wires or controllers for 60. Nice. Yeah, those are a little bit harder to they're a little bit harder to find. I think they're a little bit more expensive when you can get the sports one, for sure. But yeah, overall pretty solid. I think this kind of does it for the month of March. March has been way more way more jam-packed than I thought it would be. And believe it or not, I've already collected in terms of just value, which is not all about the value, but according to Game Eye, I've already kind of got back about 10% in terms of the value of my previous collection, which is kind of crazy that that all happened like in 1 month. It's just wild. But I think the reason for that is because of all of the really rare NES games I found in the beginning of the month. Games like Gunnack and, Snow Brothers and, Rescue Rangers 2, which I returned. But I found just a boatload of just really clean NES games at the beginning of the month. So, and I didn't really, I spent like a third of the price for those games. So that was a really really cool find. And then also I got really lucky. I ordered a copy of Gunstar Heroes from GameStop's website. They sent me a mint complete inbox copy. So that was also just kind of lucky. I've just been kind of getting lucky. And then I got a complete inbox Sega CDX and a brand new NES top loader. So, you know, yeah, man, you're right, D-pad. Callie has been treating me well. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, Callie has been treating me well. I think uh, then YouTube has kind of helped because of YouTube. There's a little bit more of a network here that I'm able to kind of leverage. Like I said, Easy Gamers being one, for sure. Just having him around is actually great because he gets retro games, but he doesn't collect them. So just having him within arm's reach is definitely going to be a help when it comes to rebuilding the collection. Although he's told me that it's becoming very, very difficult to find retro games out in the wild. So we'll have to see. But where he's at, it's kind of isolated. So I can see why he finds some of the stuff that he finds because it's kind of like it's like out there. It's like really far out there. So, but shout out to him. Shout out to GameStop. But man, I think I'm good for the month of March. I think, we've been able to kind of luck up. The GameStops that are near me, I think I've kind of, picked them dry at this point. So I need to give all of the stores near me a chance to like re-up on their inventory. Oh, yeah, that's right. So one other place that I found some games this month was a local game store where I was able to get a copy of Silent Bomber and a Vice Project Doom. So those were two pretty cool pickups. And then also, I was able to find a copy of Mars Matrix at Paymore. So yeah, man, it's been cool. It's been good. We're gonna slow up for a bit. Enjoy what we got. And we'll see what we can find deep at Y2K out here. Like I've cleaned out my local shops. Yeah, I have, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like I have. Like the local stores near me, I've pretty much gotten the stuff that I want from them. So I kind of just have to fall back for a little bit and just let them kind of re-up and see what else I can grab in the future. But for right now, we've got some pretty cool stuff. I'm gonna kind of sort through these. I'm gonna play through some of these. Most of the heavy hitters I'll probably keep in the collection. There's some things that I may wind up using as trade bait if I don't wind up really liking them too much. But probably closer towards the end of the month, I'll probably just do a recap of like the peak stuff that I got, some of the more rare stuff that I got. But we'll see how spring treats me. I've made some more connections out here with a few people who want to sell me some stuff, including like a really clean copy of Mega Man 7 on the NES, Mega Man X3 on the SNES. Just some really cool titles. So we'll see what I'm able to find. But for now, man, it's been solid. So we're working our way back up. I really got to find a place that can hook me up with Sega Saturn and Sega CD games. Those are getting very, very hard to find. Clean Sega Saturn games are very difficult to find. Even though I didn't have a large Sega Saturn collection, the Sega Saturn games I did have were pretty tough to find. I had like Burning Rangers, Herc's Adventure, Batman Forever, the arcade game, Die Hard Arcade, Astal, Three Dirty Dwarves. Like, I had some really kind of cool stuff. So it'll be tough. And then the same thing with the Sega CD. I had Popful Mail, Lords of Thunder, Android Assault, Bari Arm. I had some really cool stuff. So we'll see if we can find some of this stuff. You said I was at the swap today, got bootleg sampler for the Saturn, takes me back. Yeah, so I think that's the next step for me is really trying to figure out how to take advantage of these swap meets out here. The swap meet, like I've gone to one swap meet so far, and I'm working on a video, so I'll show you guys, kind of what that experience was like. But with the swap meets out here, you have to be there at the crack of dawn. Like you got to be the first in line, ready to go. Because if you're not, there's gonna be dudes out there that's just gonna take your lunch because they're lining up at like 4:30, 5 in the morning. They're like chomping at the bit, ready to go. So if you're not first in line, you're gonna take an L easily. You're easily gonna take a L if you're not first in line. And you know, um, yeah, yeah, D-pad, yeah. I'm thinking about it. I have some like pieces that I'm really ready to trade right now because I'm really not collecting for the GameCube right now. I just, that was the one piece of my collection that I kind of wish I didn't dedicate as much time to when I did have a decent GameCube collection. So I have a couple GameCube pieces that I think I'm gonna try to use as trade bait in the future for some more retro stuff. So we'll see what happens. But this is just a quick weekend recap. Again, shout out to Easy Gamers, shout out to GameStop. And you guys let me know down in the comments if you've had any luck. It is getting harder to find retro for sure, but it's definitely out there. I've gotten 10% of the way. I've gotten 10% of my collection back in terms of value. So yeah, 10%. It took me about a month to get back 10% of, well, no, more because, I started, I guess, basically like a few months ago, but this month was a month that I really kind of ramped it up. So let me know what you guys think. I'll catch you in the next one. It's the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.